honor to be here with you tonight. So a few months ago, I decided that it was time for a career change. I was getting older, I'm quickly approaching 40, I've got 3 children, and so I thought that it was time. It was time that I grow up and get a big boy job. And so I quit my well-paying, steady, secure job to begin pursuing a career as a professional storyteller. I want to be a professional storyteller. I want to spend the rest of my life making a living standing on stages and in classrooms and in boardrooms, telling people stories and helping them to discover their story. But where do you start? How do you begin a career as a professional storyteller? I sought out the advice and expertise of some people that I loved and respected, and the first thing that they all told me to do was to join this guild. And so about 9 months ago, I started attending here on most Tuesday evenings, soaking in your stories, trying to glean as much knowledge as I could from you. I tried to learn as much as I could from mentors that I love and trusted, and it all brought me here tonight. To this stage, to this moment, this time, this place. And as the sheer magnitude of tonight began to hit me, I began to realize that you all hold my future in your hands. All of my hopes, all of my dreams, all of my aspirations rest with you. And as the sheer magnitude of that began to sink in and destroy my psyche, it reminded me of the last time that I stood in front of a group of people who would judge my performance in determining my future fate. I was 18 years old. I was just a few weeks away from graduating high school, and my best friends and I decided that we thought it would be a great idea if we could convince our parents that it was perfectly logical and reasonable for us to go on a senior trip to Maui, Hawaii. Now, you might think of this as a rite of passage. We saw it as a con job, and we succeeded. We convinced our parents to send just the 4 of us with no parental supervision and no adult guidance on a plane to Maui, Hawaii. We grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada, and so we boarded the plane in the terminal of McCarran International Airport wearing our floral hula shirts and straw hats. We loaded that plane with dreams and aspirations of greatness, and as the plane began to make its descent into the airport in Maui, we saw the island sprawled out in front of us. It was going to be a beautiful week. We grabbed our bags and we made our way to the rental car kiosk where we were handed the keys to a lime green convertible Jeep Wrangler. This car would be our escort for the next 7 days. We threw our bags in the back and jumped in and took off down the Hana Highway. We would make stops at every single stop to look at the scenery, the magicalness of everywhere that we were and everything that we were going to experience. We stopped at little local food stands to sample the cuisine. As we pulled into the Kahana Falls Resort, we were bursting with excitement and anticipation. When we checked in, they handed us a brochure that let us know that in just a little while there was going to be a welcome luau down by the pool. They would give us all of the information about the island and all of the things that we could participate in over the course of the coming week. We quickly threw our bags in and made our way down to our pool to be a part of this exciting festivity. When we got there, we were amazed at what was spread out before us. On tables all around the pool were chairs set up, hundreds of chairs, and a stage up front. Around the outside was a table with local, fresh-grown pineapple, local, fresh-grown pineapple juice, local, fresh-grown pineapple cake, local, fresh-grown pineapple pie, and pineapple salsa. We got it all. We loaded it up, and we grabbed the many brochures that laid out for us in clear detail all of the adventures that awaited us. The concierge took the stage and began to instruct us on all of these things, from helicopter tours to luau's to scuba diving expeditions and volcanic eruptions. We were in heaven. She said any of these adventures could be ours if only we had the money. We didn't. You see, we were 18-year-olds that had just graduated from high school. Our parents each sent us with an envelope full of cash. This was long before credit cards would be given to a teenager. We knew the money that we had, and we looked at the cost of the adventures that we wanted to partake. We looked at the adventures, and we looked at our cash. We looked at our cash, and we looked at the adventures. And we had to make an adult decision. If we wanted to eat, we couldn't do some of these things. So we looked at our itinerary, and we consolidated a few things. We made a list of activities that we thought would get us through the week. Number 1 on our list, girls. Number 2 on our list, surfing. Number 3, girls. Number 4, snorkeling. Number 5, girls. 6, cliff jumping. 7, girls. And 8, getting our ears pierced. That's a different story for a different time. It was the 90s, okay? The concierge got up and began to explain all the things that were going on. We looked at our itinerary, and though we were a bit disappointed, we were content with our week. We looked at the brochures of all of the exciting things that any young teenage boy would die to experience. Many had. And we slowly watched our hopes and dreams of these adventures slip away. But my spirit was soon rejuvenated when the concierge grabbed the microphone and asked for 6 volunteers to come up on stage for the opportunity to win prizes and rewards. Before I knew it, my hand shot up in the air and my friends were pushing me up onto that stage. I jumped onto the stage of excitement and anticipation until I looked out and saw the eyes of 30 to 40 people staring back judgmentally at me. What have I gotten myself into? As the rest of the contestants made their way up onto the stage, I looked at who I would be competing against. The concierge explained to us that the 6 of us would be competing in a hula dance, of which the audience would be judging who would be the victor. Hula dance. Me. I had spent the last 18 years of my life purposely trying to avoid dancing in public. Now, don't get me wrong. I had spent countless hours in front of a full-length mirror practicing my samba and my Charleston for a moment just like this, but not the hula. I had no experience with the hula, and as the tension was beginning to rise inside of me and my anxiety was beginning to take over, I was quickly snapped back into reality as the back door of the theater swung open, and out onto the pool terrace came 3 scantily clad girls in grass skirts and coconuts. Check number 1 off of that list. The hula girls made their way onto the stage where they outfitted each of us with our own hula skirts and coconuts. They began to demonstrate for us the ancient art of the hula. The concierge lined the 6 of us up. I was number 4. She explained that we would each get 30 seconds to step out and to dance. I could feel my heart racing as I looked out at the 400 and 500 people that would now be looking and judging my future. I looked at my friends, and they looked back at me. I needed this. We needed this. All of the hopes and dreams of having an amazing Hawaiian vacation were resting on my shoulders. Well, rather my hips. The music began to play. I didn't even notice as the first few contestants went. Number 3 was going, and I was trying to look and see and judge the audience and see if I could pick up any kind of tips as to what they liked and what they didn't like so that I could gain a competitive advantage over my competition. Next thing I knew, she was stepping back and it was my turn. I stepped forward to the crowd and they all stood. 680 people stood to their feet and began to cheer and clap and shout. I was taken aback. What was going on? They're cheering for me and I hadn't even begun to dance yet. Then something magical began to happen. As the music began to play, my hands, my hips, my coconuts. Oh, we're going to the hukilau. I was doing it. The hula. It was amazing. I was in perfect unison with the music. This was going to be one of those stories that would be turned into a Hallmark made-for-TV movie, or perhaps a Disney Channel original, The Hula Prodigy. My mind was overflowing with thoughts and dreams. How were my parents going to react when I got home at the end of the week and let them know that I would not be going to college at the end of August? I was already worried how they were going to react to the earring, but how would they take this news? But no, I would not be going to college. I would instead move to the island, where I would open up a hula school, perhaps get a job as the lead star in a local luau. A life of fame and fortune was sure to accompany this amazing gift that I never knew I had. I was quickly snapped back into reality, however, as the concierge said on the mic, "Number 4. Number 4, your time is up. Number 4, please take your place in line." I snapped back into reality. As I stepped back into my place, I looked out at my friends and gave them a little wink. We've got this in the bag. I felt sorry for the suckers that were going to have to go next. They were going to feel the sweet agony of defeat in my hands, rather than my hips. The last 2 were merely a formality. The concierge lined us all back up in line and said that we would each take turns again stepping forward, where the audience would judge us based on their applause, and whoever got the loudest applause would win the prize package valued at over $500. The first contestant stepped out, a preteen boy. He got a few sympathy applause. Merely courtesy claps, I assured myself. The second contestant stepped out, an old guy, probably in his 30s. He must have been a dad. I could tell by the footwear that he was wearing. His kids and his wife hooted and hollered for him, but it was nothing compared to the eruption that was about to occur in only 2 contestants. Number 3 stepped forward, a 4-year-old little girl with a braid down her back. As soon as she stepped out, 6,000 people stood to their feet. They began to chant, they began to cheer, they began to clap, they began to scream. I was taken back. What was happening? Were they just warming up for me? What was going on here? And then it all crashed down on me. The reality began to set in. I'd been set up. She was a 4-year-old little girl with a pigtail down her back. There was no way that I could beat her. None of us had a chance at beating her. She couldn't dance, but she was cute. She had a flower in her hair that made her look like Lilo. And if she was Lilo, then that made me Stitch. The reality began to set in. The applause, the standing ovation, that hadn't been welcoming me to the stage. It had been celebrating her as she exited. I was quickly snapped back into reality again by the concierge. Number 4. Number 4. I shyly stepped out. Laughter. All I got was laughter. My friends didn't even cheer for me. I stepped back in line as the realization hit me that all of my hopes and dreams were quickly fading away. The island life, the headlining show, the helicopter tours, the luau's, the fame, the fortune, all slipping through my fingers. As the concierge handed the little 4-year-old hula prodigy her prize package, she looked at me and handed me a consolation prize. 4 tickets to an all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet. Chinese food in Hawaii, but we were 18 years old, we considered it a win. That is until later that night when we all got food poisoning. And we spent the rest of the night fighting over real estate in the bathroom. So now can you see my apprehension about tonight? Now can you see why I was so worried about this moment? Will you please keep that in mind as you fill out your evaluation forms? Because I simply cannot bear the thought of another meal at Fu Ling Chow's Walking Hibachi.